this is Daniel Mart back again. I'm an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and for this video, I'm going to do another haul. So for those who don't know or haven't seen my previous video, my favorite Barnes & Nobles has shut down. Or at the moment, it hasn't shut down, but it shuts down on September 24th. And that's the one on Kendall Drive. I live in Miami, so it's the one on Kendall Drive. That one's shutting down. Apparently, Rooms to Go bought it for whatever godforsaken reason, even though we have IKEA, but besides the point. But Rooms to Go bought it so they could turn it into a Rooms to Go, even though we have IKEA, but sure, whatever. Even though that Barnes & Nobles has been there for the past 35 years, they want to tear it down and turn it into a Rooms to Go. Something that's not going to benefit anybody, unlike Barnes & Nobles, which always benefits everybody. So, yeah, so that Barnes & Nobles is basically getting shut down, or it's getting shut down. It's in the process of closing right now. Because that Barnes & Nobles is shutting down, they're going to open up 2 new Barnes & Nobles. One of them is in Country Walk, which is basically across the street from where the old location is. I don't think that one opens until like the end of the year, or if not early next year. However, the other one did open up, and that's right here across from the Falls Shopping Center. If you're in Miami, it's right there. But because of that, I basically bought a bunch of movies, specifically a bunch of Criterions. Now, there are a few other stuff here, like Arrow and Radiance, an Indicator here in the mix. But the bulk majority of this is basically Criterion stuff. On top of that, I did go thrifting a few times, and I bought a few other stuff. Ironically enough, I'm not sure if this is an ironic thing, but like, I guess funny enough, this time when I went thrifting, I actually didn't pick up movies. I picked up 3 movies, but the bulk majority of the stuff I picked up were actually books. And you know what? Might as well just throw it here in the haul, because why not? So let's get to stuff, and I'll tell you which Barnes & Nobles I bought these at, whether it be the old one or the new one. I'm going to start off with the old Barnes & Nobles, and I'm also going to start off with the stuff that isn't Criterion. I only have 5 movies here that aren't Criterion from Barnes & Nobles. So first off, I'm going to show you guys the When Titans Rule the Earth, the Clash of the Titans, what is this? Clash of the Titans, Wrath of the Titans box set from Arrow. Not going to lie, I kind of regret buying this. Mostly because I thought this was the old Harryhausen Titan movies, not the new ones from like 10, 15 years ago. So when I found that out, I'm like, really? They made a box set for those 2 movies? And honestly, because of that, I got very like much, you know, like I don't know, like unenthusiastic about having this box set, because I truly thought it was gonna be for the old Harryhausen movies. So it's still a cool box set, but I'm like, I kind of wish it was for like some good movies. You know what I mean? So yeah, I forget which one I've seen, to be honest. I know I've seen one of them, but I don't remember which one it is, because they just kind of blend into each other. They're not really that interesting, and I'm not gonna lie, out of everything here, this is probably the one thing I regret. I'm pretty sure it's also the most expensive thing out of the bunch as well, so like, I have it now. Go figure. Now into the stuff that I actually liked. So this next one is from Indicator, and this is Girl Stroke Boy. This is actually some of the last stuff I got from Barnes & Nobles, which I actually went there yesterday. This is actually the last time I went to that old Barnes & Nobles. And this was the only Indicator title there. And what I mean by that is that this was like quite literally the only copy of any Indicator movie. It's not like there was like 5 or 6 more copies of Girl Stroke Boy. No, this is the only copy there. So in part because of that, I bought it. So go figure. Next up, we have 3 Radiance titles that I picked up. First off, we have Dogra Magra. I'll be honest, I haven't heard of any of these movies, to be honest with you. So this is kind of new to me. But yeah, Dogra Magra. Next up, we have 18 Years in Prison and A Man on His Knees. And similar to Girl Stroke Boy, where that was the only Indicator title there, these 2 were the only Radiance titles left across the entire store. Again, it's not that they had like 5 or 6 copies of Man on Your Knees or 18 Years. No, these were quite literally the only copies left, period. So just decided to get them because of that principle alone. Now, onto the Criterions. So the last day I went was actually yesterday, and that's when I got Girl Stroke Boy, Man, and 18 Years, and then I picked up these 3 other Criterions. And first off, we have Querelle. This is a movie I've been meaning to watch for some time. I don't think I've ever seen a Fassbinder movie on top of that, now that I think about it. So yeah, and this is one I've been interested in for some time. I've been wanting to watch it for some time, so finally picked it up. It was there. I was actually gonna pick it up during the Criterion sale that happened, I guess, a month and a half ago, but it wasn't there, so I finally got it. Next up, we have Paper Moon. Of course, Tatum O'Neal. She's the youngest person to have won the Oscar for Best Actress, if I'm not mistaken. On top of that, both Ryan O'Neal and Peter Bogdanovich have died in the past like 2 or 3 years, so, you know, picked it up for that. This next one is the only movie across the board that I have never heard of. Like, just across the board, across every single movie, even the stuff I got from Goodwill. Well, actually, no, there's one exception in Goodwill. But this is basically one of 2 movies I've never heard of, and that's Not a Pretty Picture. I picked it up yesterday just because of the title alone and then the description in the back. For those who don't know, this is also Martha Coolidge's directorial debut. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who Martha Coolidge is, but from it seems like this is a 70s picture, right there in the rise of the new age Hollywood type of stuff, which makes sense. And the story for this movie is essentially that you have an abuse victim, like a date rape abuse victim, and how she kind of navigates the after effects of that. So that actually seemed very interesting to me. I've never heard of this movie at all. Don't know who Martha Coolidge is. Never heard of it, so I picked it up. Next up, we have Red River. I've never seen Red River. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I had Red River, but I confused it for Rio Bravo, so that's on me. But either way, I mean, even if I had Red River, it probably wouldn't have been the Criterion, but it would have been like a random DVD, so it would have been an upgrade regardless. So got Red River right here. Next up, we have Winchester 73. A really great movie, honestly. I just recently watched it. The one thing I don't like about this movie, or better said, I guess this copy, because it's not scratched, but like literally at the hour and 10-minute mark, it started like sputtering out. I don't know how to describe it, but just like kind of stopped, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. And I kind of had to advance it for like a few minutes, and then it went back to normal. So I don't know what happened. That really hasn't happened with any other movie I have. Not that I remember. Well, no, that's a lie. It happened with Passion of the Christ, but Passion of the Christ, that one got scratched up somehow. So that's a whole different story. But speaking of which, Passion of the Christ should honestly be in the Criterion Collection. But yeah, that aside, it was a pretty good movie. I do think it kind of lags in the middle, if I'm being honest with you, but overall it's still a good movie. Next up, we have Blast of Silence, and I saw this for the first time, I think the day I bought this, and this was such a fantastic movie. Holy crap. Like, you want to talk about new Hollywood, like that indie Hollywood. Like, granted, this is 1961, so I think we're right at the cusp of new Hollywood, I want to say. But it's right there, definitely that indie boom of the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, probably even to the mid 60s, because again, it's right before new Hollywood. But this was such a impactful movie, honestly. It's such an amazing movie, kind of a downer of a movie. The one thing I'm kind of curious about is I wonder how this movie would work without the narrations. That's the one thing I'm kind of curious about. But overall, such a great movie. Next up, we have Scarface, another one I saw basically immediately. I basically did a double feature for myself with this Scarface and Al Pacino's Scarface. Again, similar to Winchester, I think it does lull a little bit in the middle, if I'm being completely honest. And I do prefer Al Pacino's Scarface to this, if I'm being completely honest. But I found this movie kind of like darkly comedic at times. Like Paul Muni, just the way he portrays him. Oh, this is under the Howard Hughes movies. Just like Red River, nice. Not Howard Hughes, Howard Hawks. Oh no, a Howard Hughes production directed by Howard Hawks. That's what I meant. But yeah, I found this to be just strangely, darkly comedic. Paul Muni, he did exceptional as Scarface, as, what's his name? Al Camonte? Was that his? Yeah, Camonte. Tony Camonte. So, I mean, just great. I'm not gonna lie, and this is me being kind of dumb. On the arts, I didn't know why they kind of highlighted this cross. I'm like, oh no, that's because that's his scar. That's his scar. I didn't realize I was watching a movie. But yeah, overall, just a great movie. Although Al Pacino's Scarface is my favorite one out of the two. Next up, we have Shaft. And something I kind of found out is that they actually have the two Shaft movies here. They have Shaft, the original Shaft, and then Shaft Strikes Back. So it's kind of a double pack, really. Kind of like another double pack that I'm going to get later. I almost feel like they should have done that. Like, Shaft, and then underneath, like, Shaft Strikes Back, or whatever the sequel is called. They should have almost advertised it as both movies. And realistically, they probably should have thrown in the third Shaft movie from the original Richard Roundtree series. That would have been nice, but that's neither here nor there. But I was just really happy to get Shaft. I saw this back in 2020 during the BLM riots, pandemic time. Really liked it. And of course, Shaft, the soundtrack to Shaft is just iconic. So smooth, so great, jazzy, And it's probably the most famous blaxploitation movie of that time. Next up, we have EO. And this is one I'm gonna save to watch until I get Al-Hazar Balthazar, because I feel like those two are basically one and the same, about a donkey and the journeys of a donkey, so to speak. So I'm gonna wait to watch this movie until I get Al-Hazar Balthazar. Next up, we have another double pack. So yeah, similar to how I was talking about Shaft here, I almost feel like they should have done something similar like this, like the Val Lewton collection here, where you have I Walk with a Zombie and The Seventh Victim. So I almost feel like they could have done that too here, like put the other Shaft movie title underneath. So yeah, and then Val Lewton, I mean, the only thing I know about Val Lewton is the fact that they're a horror producer, and that Val Lewton from Final Destination, the teacher in the first Final Destination, is named after this Val Lewton. So I haven't seen, I think I Walk with the Zombie is in one of the many like horror collection, DVD collections that I have, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Next up, we have The Wages of Fear. So I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking of picking up Sorcerer today, from the new Barnes and Nobles. But the thing is that the only Sorcerer copies they have is the 4Ks, which are like $50 essentially. And I'm like, that's a little bit too much for me, even with the discount that they're giving off at that Barnes and Nobles. I still feel like it's a little bit too high for me, and I don't really need 4K movies. I don't have a 4K player. Like, across my entire collection, I only really have like 3 4K movies, and that's really it. 2 of them I got because I basically thrifted them, and the other one is the Wally Criterion because it only comes in the 4K pack. So that one I was basically forced to get. But I don't really have a reason personally to get 4Ks. If the Sorcerer Blu-ray was there, like just a Blu-ray, then I would have gotten it, but I don't. It wasn't there. It was just a 4K version, so I've decided against it. But yeah, eventually, I think similar to EO, where I'm gonna wait to get Al Hasar Batasar, I'm gonna wait till I get Sorcerer to watch The Wages of Fear, since they're essentially the same story, with Sorcerer being a remake of The Wages of Fear. And last but not least, from the old Barnes and Nobles, we have Pandora's Box, a silent film from 1929. Yeah, another great box set. Honestly, like I like how just randomly Criterion will just like have certain movies where they'll just randomly make a box set for them, like, or have special casing for them. Like, it's not like Wages of Fear where like it's just the regular Blu-ray disc. No, like this is like the regular Blu-ray disc in this like really nice box set, so to speak. Like, they do that a lot for their 4Ks, but I wish they would do it more often for their Blu-rays as well. So that's what I got at the old Starbucks. My bad. At the old Barnes and Nobles. Now onto the stuff I got from the new Barnes & Nobles. So at this new Barnes & Nobles, I've only done 2 trips. I went there last week Friday, I want to say. And then I went today. And this is basically what we got. So these first couple movies, these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these first 6 movies I got back on Friday. And the next 7 movies I got today. So yeah, and the reason why I got so many Criterions on top of that is because the old Barnes & Nobles, they had a sale where it was 20% off for all movies, vinyl, CDs, whatever. You know, it's Criterion, so might as well take advantage of it. But on the flip side, for the new Barnes & Nobles, which this one I'm kind of lost on, to be honest with you, but for the new Barnes & Nobles, they had a 30% discount. So I do find it a little bit weird and strange that the new Barnes & Nobles had a bigger discount on physical media as opposed to the old one, because like the old one's someone that's shutting down, so shouldn't they have a bigger discount or whatever? Like, I feel like they should be the same. Like, they should be both 20% or maybe 30%, or maybe split the difference at 25. I don't know, but that's what I kind of got a bit more at the old one. And on top of that, I have the membership card, so there's an additional 10% there, which I guess in this case it's just 30%, but as in this case it'd be 40% off, realistically speaking. So it all evened out. But yeah, let's go on to the stuff that I got. So again, I did 2 trips at this new Barnes & Nobles. The first 6 are going to be from back on Friday, and then the next 7 are going to be from today. So first off, and this is probably the most recent thing they have on Criterion right now, this is from their new class of stuff, and that is the Cairo Station by Yusuf Shaheen. I saw this back when Netflix had a bunch of Yusuf Shaheen movies on Netflix. This was like 2, maybe 3 years ago. I want to say like 2022. I want to say maybe 2021. I don't remember. And just binge watching Yusuf Shaheen. I remember binge watching Yusuf Shaheen in the span of like a month, and he is such a talented director. Like, he is such a great director. I'm surprised that this is the only movie of his that they have on Criterion. I feel like they should have more of his movies there on Criterion, or do like on the Eclipse series, because I know they're going to revive that. Like, do it in Eclipse series, and they just put a bunch of Yusuf Shaheen movies, or maybe in that Martin Scorsese Around the World collection that they have, put another Yusuf Shaheen movie there. Like, I think the next movie they should put, if they're going to do any more Yusuf Shaheen, I think the next one they should do 100% is Dark Waters, which is also known as Surrender in the Pier, or Struggle in the Pier. It goes by both titles. You could take your pick, but it's called Dark Waters / Struggle in the Pier. Omar Sharif, he's in that. Omar Sharif is best known for Lawrence of Arabia. I think that would be, if they're gonna put another Yusuf Shaheen movie, I think that would be a great one. Another great thing would be his Alexandria series. He has like 4 movies in this series, and it's honestly very similar to like the Apu trilogy or the Antoine Donnellan series, where you just follow the life of this character across these span of movies, and I think there's like 4 or 5 movies in that series. And I remember I saw the first 2 movies, and then I was gonna see the third one, but it was like on the day that Netflix took out Yusuf Shaheen movies, so like I didn't see it. Another great one is Saladin. That's another great one. That's like a epic as well. He has a few musicals, which I'll be honest, his musicals weren't my favorite ones. Like, they're entertaining, they were fun to watch, but they weren't my favorite ones. But I don't know, maybe if you collect the musicals and just put an Eclipse series, Yusuf Shaheen musicals, maybe, go have fun with that. That'd be a nice thing to do. But yeah, I genuinely think they should have more Yusuf Shaheen movies on the channel, on Criterion, to collect, to buy. Next up, we have Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. And I really like this, like, reflective, what's it called, slipcover. Again, this is another box set, so to speak, really nice. I'll be honest, the only reason I picked up this movie is because I've been watching a lot of the Criterion Closet videos, and a lot of people pick this movie. So I'm like, you know what, a lot of people are picking this, so I might as well pick it too. And not gonna lie, I'm kind of playing with the reflection right now because it's pretty cool. But yeah, next up with the box sets, we have Videodrome. I think I saw this for the first time last year or the year before. And like, yeah, I mean, David Cronenberg, he's one of the masters of horrors, up there with Hitchcock and Craven, for example. He's one of the masters of horror. So, you know, might as well pick up probably his. No, I mean, there's The Fly, so I think The Fly is probably better known than Videodrome, but still, like, definitely one of his best-known movies. The Fly not being on Criterion is actually kind of insane now I think about it. Is this the only Cronenberg movie on Criterion now I think about it? Like, because I think the only other ones that would make sense to put would be, like, Scanners and The Fly. But I feel like if they have The Fly, Cronenberg's The Fly, they should also put the original The Fly from, like, the 50s or 60s, which I have somewhere here. I remember I bought The Fly thinking it was the Dave Goldblum Cronenberg Fly, but it wasn't. Alright, next up we have Thief from James Caan. This is a movie I've been wanting to watch for some time, especially since James Caan died, which I know he died like a few years back, but still it's one. I think everybody, the consensus is that outside of The Godfather, this is probably his best role in the movies, you know? I've been meaning to watch it for some time, and Michael Mann's a great director. Of course, he did Heat. Probably that's his best known movie. Maybe LA Takedown. That'd be a very interesting movie to put on the Criterion channel. For the collection, the LA Takedown, which was the movie right before Heat. Or maybe if they do like what they did with Shaft, like put Heat as the main thing and then have LA Takedown as the like a bonus feature somehow. That'd be pretty funny. Next up we have House, and I saw this for the first time last year, and this was such a trippy movie. I don't even think I understood it, especially because I had to watch it twice, because the first time I saw it, the subtitles were like incorrect. It wasn't the right subtitles for the movie, so I was super lost throughout the whole movie, and then I realized, like, this is not the right subtitles. So then I had to search it up, and I found the right subtitles for the movie, and I saw the movie properly. But yeah, great. Definitely one I'm going to check out, especially now that we're going to be in October pretty soon. Next up, we have Onibaba. Don't know it. I've heard of it. I just don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it, but can't wait to watch this. And then the last few stuff I got here are from today, from the new Barnes & Nobles, and let's go. So first off, and not gonna lie, I thought this movie was going to be a lot more expensive. I thought, because of the packaging, I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive, and that is Do the Right Thing. And Do the Right Thing is such an amazing movie. Definitely Spike Lee's best movie. I have to imagine it is his best movie. I don't think anything else comes close to it. I mean, personally, I'm partial to Get on the Bus. I feel like that if that gets a Criterion release, that'd be kind of epic, to be honest with you. But Do the Right Thing has to be his best movie by far. Oh no, wait, Malcolm X. My bad. He has Malcolm X. I mean, between this and Malcolm X, what am I saying? So, yeah, okay, that's a rip on me. But yeah, I'm kind of amazed that this was only $40 because of the packaging, the way it looks like. It's just great. You also have like this book inside, you know, like this book with which is basically his diary inside with you know, the production of the movie. Like this is something I would have expected to pay way more than I did, you know. So I'm like truly amazed at what a great price this is. And on top of that, remember, I got this on a discount, basically 40% discount, because they were doing 30% and then plus my membership. So yeah, basically that. I'm truly amazed by how cheap, quote unquote cheap, this was. And on top of that, like, just Do the Right Thing. Also, like, I basically did a report on Do the Right Thing back when I was in college. Not me, technically, but I was helping out the person. So my friend, they were supposed to watch Do the Right Thing for their class, and they had to write a report on it. So, but they didn't really know how to approach it, so I kind of helped them with it. And I basically discussed how the colors and the lighting of the movie really affect the tone of the movie, and how you can see what Spike Lee was trying to do when it came to the lighting and when it came to the colors in the movie and all that stuff. And they got an A on it, because of course I did, because I helped them. So yeah. Speaking of Spike Lee, by the way, next up we have High and Low, which of course is going to be remake, and I think already came out. Highest to Lowest is a remake of this movie of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. Speaking of Akira Kurosawa, we have also Kagemusha. So yeah, we have High and Low and Kagemusha. Not gonna lie, aside from the fact that this is a samurai movie, don't know what this is about. Aside from the fact that this is... Actually, I know a little bit more about this movie, with the kidnapping and all that. So I do know a little bit more about this movie, but... Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't seen them, so... Speaking of which now, this is honestly what I think Shafter's done. And that is what Lady Snowblood did. Where they basically have Lady Snowblood, and then underneath they have Lady Snowblood, The Secret Love. What is it? Love of Song of Vengeance. I almost feel like that's what Shaft should have done. realistically, I feel like that's what Shaft should have done, where they had the Shaft, and then underneath Shaft's big score, or whatever the sequel is called. That's honestly what they should have done. And again, similar to Do the Right Thing, I actually thought this would have been a lot more expensive because it is 2 movies, but I guess they went the Val Lewton route, and they're just like, nah, a double pack is going to be $40 regardless. Alright, next up we have Stalker and Solaris, 2 Tarkovsky films. I've seen Stalker in the past, I've seen it once, but not gonna lie, I really wasn't in the right headspace to like watch it. I just wasn't paying attention, if I'm being completely honest with you. So it'll be nice to go back and rewatch it, even though it's 161 minutes. God damn! No wonder I didn't have the capacity, the brain power to pay attention. It's so long. Holy crap! I did not realize that at the time. And so is Solaris. Solaris is, I'm not gonna lie, Stalker is the only Tarkovsky movie I've seen, and given the fact that I barely paid attention, I'm pretty sure I fell asleep through it. So just tells you how much how much I know about Tarkovsky or not. So yeah, I'll watch these eventually, basically when I get the time. And last but not least for the Criterions, last but not least for the Barnes & Noble stuff, we have Being John Malkovich. So yeah, I mean, this is another trippy movie. I watched it for the first time around 2021, I want to say, or 2020, 2021. I feel like I watched it a few times around that time, that's the thing. And then I also did a short inspired by Being John Malkovich, where I combined Being John Malkovich with Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. And I did it for one of Matthew Mark Hunter's feature films, I want to say. Or maybe it's a short film with a lot of collection of like skits and shorts. And I did it for that, where I portrayed John Malkovich. Yeah. And then Jay Selton, my former partner in crime, so to speak, he portrayed Freddy Krueger. So, you know, so to a certain degree, also John Malkovich kind of like lives in me, so to speak, and it's a great movie. Kind of means a lot to me, especially because of that little short. So yeah, that's it for all the Barnes & Noble stuff, whether it be the old Barnes & Nobles or the new Barnes & Nobles. Now we're gonna go into the Goodwill stuff, and I only have 3 DVDs here from Goodwill. To be honest, again, the vast majority of the stuff is books, which is kind of amazing. So yeah, first off, we have a Spanish film called Departamento de Soltero. Again, if you guys have heard me talk, especially extensively about this last year, at every single Goodwill, there's like these random Spanish titles that you just pick up because, you know, they're like, when are you ever going to see them again? There are a bunch of these Mexican or Spanish or other Spanish-speaking country movies, you know, like, it's just very random, like, and I always want to pick them up because they're like, that's very interesting, that's very cool. And most of these movies have like telenovela quality, but it doesn't matter because you know what you're getting into. So that's what I picked up. Next up, we have Dougal, and the only reason I picked this up is because this is actually one of the first movies I ever saw in theaters. I only ever saw it the one time, and I have like very sparse memories or details of some of the scenes in this movie. So I kind of just want to go back and rewatch what one of the first movies I saw. I know the very first movie I ever saw in theaters, at least to my recollection, was Herbie Fully Loaded, the one with Lindsay Lohan, which I do have, and I've actually never seen, even though I have it. So maybe one day I'll do a double feature of that and Dougal, of Herbie Fully Loaded and Dougal, as my first and second movie in theaters ever that I remember watching. So yeah, I do know, however, that, because this is originally a French film, but when it came from France to America, the Weinsteins, they heavily criticized and edited the story and the movie and whatever. So because of that, I think the American version of this movie is not as highly regarded as the French version of this movie, which is kind of interesting. And then last but not least, we have Jesus Camp. I don't have that many documentaries in my repertoire here in my collection, so just added one. And again, I am very much Christian. You know, I believe in Christ, so this is something that just kind of interested me. I know this is kind of divisive among Christian circles because of what it portrays. I'm very divisive, so another reason to go check it out. So yeah, that's everything I got in terms of movies. Now onto the books. And a lot of this stuff, I'm not gonna lie, it is very much faith-based, Christian-based. Not everything, but a lot of it. First off, we have Bible Reference Library. And this basically has 3 collection of books. The Bible Almanac, Fascinating Bible Facts, and Who's Who in the Bible. Just seemed kind of an interesting thing to look into when I have the time, and I kind of just cross-reference between my Bible and, you know, whatever's in here. Also, I like the fact that it came in this like box set as well. Pretty cool. Next up, we have The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. So Lee Strobel, he's somebody who's often quoted in Christian circles. He has a lot of great quotes. So I saw this out in the wild, so I'm like, you know what, let me go get it. Next up, we have The Varieties of Religious Experience by William James. I'll be honest, I don't know what this is about, don't know what this is, but I just picked it up. Just seemed interesting with the title, so there you go. And I think that's it for the religious stuff. I think so, because everything else is not religious. Next up, we have The Lord of the Flies. I'm not gonna lie, I already have Lord of the Flies. I just kind of really like the cover. So that's me being a bit impulsive, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, we have The Outsiders and Tex Both of them are by S.E. Hinton. So, just saw them there. I'm like, you know what? Seems pretty cool. And The Outsiders is a movie on top of that. So, I'll be honest. I'm not sure if this is like a sequel to The Outsiders. I'm not sure about that. But, still seems pretty cool. Next up, I have Film Art, an introduction, the 5th edition. Again, I'm still a filmmaker at heart. So, I lost stuff about film right there. And just, I guess, film arts. So I'll scan through this later eventually and see what it has there. I mean, I just like looking at a lot of these film books and seeing, even if I'm just skimming through them, seeing what they have, what kind of information they have. Alright, next one, this is kind of for a joke, if I'm being honest with you. But that is the Encyclopedia of the Cat. So, me and my friends have a running joke where I'm basically a cat. I think I've discussed this in the past. So I just kind of saw this there for like $2. I'm like, you know what? Let me get this just for the joke of it. Just to keep on with the whole thing. I'm a cat. So that's really the only reason I picked it up, just for the joke of it. Next up, I picked up Bolivar. This is basically Simon Bolivar's biography. So yeah, Bolivar, American Liberator. Next up, we have a James Dean biography. We have James Dean, the life and legend of James Dean, Don Aldo Spotto. I think that's the author, Don Aldo Spotto. The life and legend of James Dean, just a biography of him. And then last but not least, we have Krakatoa, basically a book on Krakatoa. Just seemed pretty interesting. I like the cover, so that's why I picked it up. I think I'll start picking up a few more books from Goodwill because I am starting to read a lot more, also recently. So hopefully I'll have time to do that. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it for now. Okay, so I lied. I actually did go to the Barnes & Nobles just one more time. It's been a few days since then, so I went there one more time. And I picked up a few more movies. I actually picked up 5, and then after this, I'm not going to go back to Barnes & Nobles. I think it's just one of those things, like the newity of it all. So we keep wanting to come back. But yeah, after this, I'm going to be honest with you. I spent a little bit too much money, to be completely honest with you. So, I think at this point, I'm just tapped out, completely tapped out. And I'm not going to lie, at this point, I think I've really cleaned up, so to speak, or picked over that selection. Everything else, it's either stuff I already have, whether I need to upgrade to, like, Princess Bride, like I said in another portion of this video, or, like, Silence of the Lambs, that's one thing or another. So, it's stuff that I already have, or maybe I already have it in the collection as well, or from the collection. So, it's either stuff I already have, stuff that I just feel is too expensive. Again, Criterion's already $40. There's a lot of 4Ks there, which are another extra $10, $50, and there's some titles that are only there on $50, like Dreams by Akira Kurosawa. That was only there as a 4K, for example. And since I don't have a 4K player, I don't have a reason to spend that much money on that. So yeah, so I think at this point I've really picked clean over it. I'm not gonna lie, three of these titles I was considering getting in the past. So I'm like, you know what, let me just bite the bullet and get these 3 titles. And then the other two I just kind of picked up. One of them, I'll be honest, one of these titles, I didn't even know it was on the Criterion channel, or it had a Criterion, to be completely honest with you. And then the other one I've heard of. I've heard of this movie. I know, like, stuff about this movie, but I don't, like, really know it, if that makes sense. Like, I've heard of it, I know some details of it, but that's about it. So that's why I picked it up. So the first one I have here is an Akira Kurosawa one, but it's not Dreams. It is actually Throne of Blood. So I did kind of get a bunch of Akira Kurosawa movies, I guess, in this haul with this, and High and Low, and Kagemusha, however you pronounce it. I really like the back for this movie, by the way, like, how, like, the blood drips there, and, like, even over the image. Like, unlike a lot of other Criterions, they don't really do that. They don't really put, like, an image, like, in the back, or they don't really design it like that, if that makes sense. Like, it's usually just, like, a plain background, black, white, blue, red, whatever background's appropriate for the movie, and that's really it, So I actually really like this detail. I think it's really cool. It makes it stand out a lot more. So that's Throne of Blood. Next up, we have Anatomy of a Fall, one of my favorite movies of that year, of 2023. I picked it up, and to kind of go along with that, we have Anatomy of a Murder. So there you go, both anatomy movies. Might as well pick it up. It's Otto Preminger, James Stewart. I got a few other James Stewart movies in this mix as well, with Winchester 73. And James Stewart, he's just one of those amazing actors from the golden age of Hollywood, or post-war Hollywood. He's such a great actor, of course. It's a Wonderful Life as well. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Yes, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. He also has another movie called Mr. Deeds. I forget what the full title is, but he has Mr. Deeds. That's another great movie. So, he's been great. He's always great. Of course, he did a lot of stuff with Alfred Hitchcock. Vertigo, which I'll be honest, here's a hot take. I'm not the biggest fan of Vertigo, but he did Vertigo. I believe he was also in The Birds, if I'm not mistaken. So, or was that Cary Grant? No, I think that was actually Cary Grant, my bad. But yeah, overall, just a great actor. So, another one from him. And of course, Anatomy of a Fall from that year. So these are the 3 I wanted to pick up. I was considering picking up in the past. The last 2 times I went there, I just didn't. I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm here one last time. Might as well pick them up. And then these 2, I'll be honest, this one, I wasn't even aware it was on Criterion to begin with. And I was actually very shocked. And that is The Others. I had no idea this was on Criterion. I was like very much shocked when I saw this on Criterion. Like, this is a fantastic movie. Fantastic movie from the past 25 years. Like, again, if you've been going back on my channel this year, I've been doing a lot of list videos, or reacting to list videos, better said, about what are some of the best movies in the past 25 years. I honestly don't recall if anybody said The Others. Maybe on the horror list. Maybe on the best movies of the past 25 years that are horror from, I think, Rolling Stones or The Hollywood Reporter, one of those. I think they had The Others, but I don't remember seeing The Others by and large. So it's an amazing movie. It's an amazing movie. Just a great twist at the end. I'm not gonna spoil it, but definitely great. And again, I didn't know this was on the Criterion channel. I didn't know this was on the Criterion channel or part of the collection or whatever. So picked it up for that too. And then the last one here, it's Orson Welles, it's Franz Kafka, it's Anthony Perkins. It is The Trial. So yeah, we do have a bunch of trial movies, I guess, here with this, and then the 2 anatomy movies here, because they're all about a trial. And this one's quite literally called The Trial. So yeah, this is the one I know very sparse details about. Like, I know it's Orson Welles. I know it's Anthony Perkins. I didn't know it was Franz Kafka. I'll give you that. And I know it's kind of a trippy movie, or like, I guess, I mean, if it's Kafka-esque, or not even Kafka-esque, it just is Kafka, so it would have to be somewhat trippy. But yeah, I mean, I kind of picked it up. Anthony Perkins, he's one of those actors I kind of want to get more into. I'll be honest, the only thing I've seen him in is Psycho, and Psycho's 2, 3, and was he in the 4th one as well? So yeah, like the only thing I truly know Anthony Perkins from is Psycho. So I kind of want to explore more of his filmography, and you know, that's why I got it. And Orson Welles, I mean, of course he's known for Citizen Kane, but he also has a bunch of other movies. I'll be honest, Orson Welles, I haven't seen any of his other movies that he's directed as well. Like, I know he has F for Fake, the Ambrose, what is it, the Spectacular Ambroses, or Amazing Ambroses, or whatever that movie is. He has another one. I forget what the movie is called, but I know the beginning, the opening scene of that movie is very iconic because it's basically a one shot of like this movie studio, and there's like a car and a bomb or something like that. So I forget what movie that is. It's probably there right now, but yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know that much about Anthony Perkins outside of Psycho. I don't know that much about Orson Welles outside of Citizen Kane. So kind of a good merger. Here we go for that. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. This is basically the end of the haul. Past this, there is no more videos, more movies to add to this collection. I was talking with a friend, and I basically doubled in the span of about 2 months. I basically doubled my Criterion intake into my collection. You saw some of the other Criterions I got in my previous August movie haul video. Some of those movies are there, but yeah, I just in the span of 2 months, again, because of all the discounts, because we went from the Criterion sale immediately to the closure of that Barnes & Noble's, and then the opening of this new Barnes & Noble. So like, for about 2 months straight, I basically been having deals and sales on Criterion stuff. So like, I really, stocked up. And if I'm not mistaken, actually, is next month the Criterion, the next Barnes & Noble's Criterion sale? I feel like we're gonna have like a Criterion sale pretty soon, because they usually have twice a year. I think it's either the Flash sale that's gonna come up next, or the Barnes & Noble's one. Which, yeah, I'll wait till next month to pick up anything. Yeah, that's basically it for now. Truly, basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off. Okay, so I lied. So I decided to visit Barnes & Noble's just one last time on its last dying breath. Currently, it is the 23rd of September, and it closes tomorrow on the 24th of September. Pretty sure this video probably goes up on the 24th, maybe the 23rd, maybe the 25th. I'm not sure. I still haven't decided, because I want to make one more video that I kind of need to do a follow-up on. And I kind of need to release it this week now I think about it. Yeah, so I went there one last time, and at this point there was no movies. There was like a few select movies, like the DVD version of Till, that was still there. They still had a few copies of Till there, but the DVD version, not the Blu-ray. And I already had the Blu-ray. Already got the Blu-ray earlier this year, 2-3 months ago, around the time of the Criterion sale. So I already had that. They had a few British series, like mini-series. That's Thunder. I'm not sure if it could be heard here, but that's Thunder right there. I mean, they had a few British series, but like I just wasn't interested, honestly. So yeah, I mean, the DVDs were basically gone. The DVDs, the movies in general, gone. The vinyls, they had a bunch of vinyls for like $5 at that point, but nothing that I cared for. And it wasn't even like the big stuff like I don't know, Metallica or Sabrina Carpenter, or it wasn't like the mix of, it was like some of the more, I guess, indie stuff. I'm not sure, like I didn't recognize any of the artists, so that's the thing. So yeah, but I decided to buy some books, and yeah, so let's just get to it. So I bought 8 books here, and yeah, we have two of them are basically biographies for musicians, and the other 6 are stuff about movies, essentially, and that's what it comes down to. One of them is biography. Yeah, one of them is a biography, but the rest are just like movie industry stuff. So let me get on to the musician stuff. And this is the Led Zeppelin, the biography by Bob Spitz. I mean, Led Zeppelin is one of the best bands ever, so it was right there. Might as well get it. It's one of those things that was just like really popping out to me, and I'm like, you know what? Let me get it. You know, I mean, for me, my favorite song of all time is "Stairway to Heaven." Honestly, if it could pass for a worship song, a Christian worship song, I would say that's my favorite worship song. It's not gonna pass, but yeah, so I got that. And then I also got Citizen Cash, which is written by Michael Stuart Foley, and basically the political life and times of Johnny Cash. Basically what it says right there. I mean, Johnny Cash, he's, you know, the boss. I mean, again, he's, if you look into like his politics and like what he stood for, it's very, like once you realize who he was politically speaking, like it really starts to inform who he was as a person, if that makes sense. It's just really insightful. So I wanted to pick it up, and of course, as a boss, I was gonna pick up the Leonard Cohen book as well, like the early life biography interview thing. But I just, at the end of the day, I'm not as big a fan of Leonard Cohen as I am like Led Zeppelin or Johnny Cash. To be honest with you, I mean, honestly, outside of Hallelujah, like I can't really name you another Leonard Cohen song. Like I know he's an institution, but like if I'm being completely honest with you and myself, like I'm not that big of a fan of Cohen to pick up the book. So yeah, so that's it for the music stuff. The only other biography I picked up here is The Good Neighbor and the Life and Works of Fred Rogers. Pretty self-explanatory, by Maxwell King. I mean, yeah, Fred Rogers, he's, you know, like Mr. Rogers. I mean, I don't really know if I need to explain to you who Mr. Rogers is, who Fred Rogers is. I mean, he had an amazing life. I mean, he quite literally saved PBS. He went up in front of Congress back in, like the 70s, against one of the most hardline congressmen at the time, and that congressman, I forget his name right now, but the congressman's like, well, I think you just saved PBS. You know, it's like that's the power that Fred Rogers has. And Fred Rogers, from what I understand, he was also very much a very Christian man. I believe he was Episcopalian? I want to say he was Episcopalian. So, and then these are like not biographies. These are just like stuff about Hollywood in general. This is a book I've been meaning to get for some time, and it is Oscar Wars: A History of Hollywood in Gold, Sweat, and Tears by Michael Schulman. I've been meaning to pick up this book for some time, but I've never really had an urge to. I've never had a reason to pick up, pull the trigger, better said. I've been wanting to get it for some time. And you know what? At this point, with this place going out of business and there end up being there for 50% off, might as well get at this point. And no, I really like this cover. I mean, who do we have here? I mean, we have Jack Nicholson, Spielberg, Halle Berry right there. This has to be Sidney Poitier. This has to be Sidney Poitier. DiCaprio, Tarantino. Who else do we have here? I don't know. I don't know who these are. This is. Actually, I'll be honest. I don't know who these are. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know who those are, but yeah. I don't know. Is that maybe Hepburn? Katharine Hepburn? Maybe. Or maybe this is Gwyneth Paltrow. I'll be honest. I can't even tell if that's a guy or a girl right here. Oh no. This is. Oh my gosh. From Sunset Boulevard. Gloria Swanson. That's what it is. That's Gloria Swanson. Just realized that. Okay. Camera's back on. It fell. So on to that. So the next book we have here is The World Is Yours, the story of Scarface. So yeah, I mean, I recently picked up the Criterion version of Scarface, the original Paul Muni Scarface, and then after that, I rewatched Brian De Palma, Al Pacino Scarface, and this is the one that this book talks about De Palma, Pacino Scarface, and just the legacy it's had over time. And this is by Glenn Kenny. I will say though, I'm not the biggest fan of the cover. I know why they have the tiger, but it's like, is that really the image you want to? Like, Scarface, like, I don't think of the tiger. Like, the tiger is something that Pacino says, like, in a one-off line, and then it kind of comes into fruition during a montage. But, like, the tiger is not the main focus. So for them to have the tiger right there is kind of questionable, in my opinion. It's kind of weird and random. So, I mean, I would have just put, like, just put Al Pacino. Like, I'll be honest with you. So, that would have been me. That's what I would have done. Next up, this is another book I've been meaning to pick up for some time. And this is Hollywood High, a totally epic way opinionated history of teen movies by Bruce Handy. This is another one I've been meaning to pick up for some time. But again, I've just never really had that much of an reason to pick it up. I really do like the inside, where it's almost like, let me take off the jacket very fast. So let me take off the jacket, and so it's almost like it's signed like a yearbook by some of the stars from a bunch of these teen movies. Whether it be, let's see what movies are represented here. Because they have a bunch of movies here represented. They have, so the jacket's back on, and yeah, this is talking about just teen movies in general. I'm not gonna lie, for a second I thought it was just like the 80 teen movies, but then when you're looking at it, no, this is teen movies across the board. I mean, you have 90s here with, you have Clueless, you have Breakfast Club, you have, not gonna lie, don't know which one this one is, but you have Rebel Without a Cause, Fast Times at Ridgemont High right here. This is Ferris Bueller, and is this Pretty in Pink? I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure if this is Pretty in Pink, or maybe 16 Candles, and then this one, I have no idea what this one is. Cooley High, maybe? I'm not really sure. Really don't know. Yeah, and again, I really like the inside too. Like, you have it signed by a bunch of these just people from across the board. But like the characters, like here you have Ferris Bueller. You know, life moves pretty fast, except in Mr. Stein's econ class. You have Ferris Bueller. You have Regina. You know, Regina George from Mean Girls. Spicoli from Grease. Katniss. The only Katniss I know is from Hunger Games, and that's not a teen movie. Or maybe it is. I'm sorry I had to kill your brother. Katniss. Whose brother did she kill? Bella. Would that be Twilight? That Katniss is really throwing me off. Because I mean, it has the arrow. What the hell? That one is really throwing me. Is there another character called Katniss? I don't remember her killing anybody's brother. That one throws me off. You have Bender. Eat my shorts, eat my shorts, eat my shorts. Cher from As If. Cher. Party, Hardy, Wooderson. Is that Dazed and Confused? So yeah, you have James Stark. Safe Travels to Summer. So yeah, I mean, just great overall. Like, I really love the inside here. That Katniss one is really throwing me off though. What? Is there another kid? I don't know. Okay, next up we have the untold story of the rise and fall of Disney Channel's tween empire, Disney High. And this is by Ashley Spencer. So, I mean, this just seemed kind of very interesting. I'm going to assume this is talking about, like, 2000s, like, maybe, like, late 90s to, like, maybe the early 2010s. Maybe, you know, early to mid-2010s and just, like, that whole time. I mean, the chapters here you have Even Steven, Lizzie McGuire, Hilary Duff, Raven Simone, Sweet Life, High School Musical, a few chapters on High School Musical, Hannah Montana, a few chapters on Miley Cyrus / Hannah Montana, Jonas Brothers, Demi, Selena, and Wizards. So yeah, I mean, just that era of like late 90s to just the 2000s. So pretty cool right here. And then this is another book I've been meaning to pick up for some time, and this is the Viva Hollywood: The Legacy of Latin and Hispanic Artists in American Film. Again, like I said, some of these books I've been meaning to pick up for some time. Some of them I just kind of picked up at random. Like the ones that I've been meaning to pick up for some time are this one, Viva Hollywood, Viva Hollywood, Hollywood High, and the Oscar Wars. And then the rest I kind of just picked up at random, if I'm being completely honest with you. And overall, this is pretty cool. Let me see, Oscar Wars. So I was reading some of the chapters, like just the chapter titles for Oscar Wars, and that was pretty cool because I didn't know how far they went into like talking. But it's one of those things. They start from the very beginning, 1927, 1929, the birth of the Academy Awards, and they go pretty recent up until 2017, so like 8 years ago, with the Oscar So White and a chaotic night, you know, with the envelope and all that. So we have that. You also, you talk about tokens. Like the token people like Hattie McDaniel, Sidney Poitier, and Halle Berry. The whole 99 race with the Harveys. There's a fiasco in 1989, the worst Oscar ever with Alan Carr. That one I don't know about. Oh, nice. They have a they feature chapter 7 is Running the Asylum, 1976. The Oscars fly over the cuckoo's nest. For those who know me, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I can't wait to read that. Hollywood High. That's it. Let me see some of the chapters on Hollywood High, just to see what I'm getting myself into. Okay, so they don't really go much into it. Bella, so yeah, I guess Katniss would be. Yeah, they go, because here's the chapters. It's Preteens, Judge Hardy's Son, Rebels, Frankie and Annette, Graffiti, Fast Times, Hughes, Boys, Sharon Kids, The Plastics, and Bella and Katniss. I guess Hunger Games is a teen movie, but I guess it's like at that point, like, yeah, it's a YA movie. I think like teen movie, you think like at school, like high school, you know what I mean? But and even then, I'm sorry I had to kill your brother. Like that's I don't even. That is such a weird quote for Katniss to like. I'm sorry I had to kill your brother. Like, if you're a Hunger Games fan, write this one. If you're a Hunger Games fan, like, do you remember her killing anybody's brother? Like, I don't. Like, I'm thinking Rue, but that's a sister, and like, she didn't have any. I think in the movie she didn't have any siblings. I think in the book she does. Like I'm thinking like she kills Gloss or like Jack Quaid's character, but like I don't think he had a family. That one's throwing me off. Like that quote for her throws me off. So whatever. See, Viva Hollywood. What chapters do we have here? So here we have Latin and Hispanic origins, how it all began, matinee lover, idols, the Latin lover, that whole trope, the Tutti Frutti hats, and the good neighbors. So you know when they had the fruit basket sombreros, whatever. Hollywood film classics, post-war stuff, the 60s and 70s, the Hollywood reimagined Latinos, Latino protests, contemporary classics, contemporary class of leading men, my bad, and new visions. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's see, Disney, I already talked about this one. Let me see the chapters here in Scarface book. De Palma's Complaints, the first Scarface, the original Palmini one, The Legend of Marty Bergman, Tony, Oliver Stone, and Miami in Paris, because for those who don't know, Oliver Stone actually wrote Scarface, De Palma's Vision, Elvira, Manny, Unwelcome to Miami, Stress and Universal. So yeah, I mean, again, it just talks about me. Hip-hop makes Tony Montana an icon, spiritual sequel. They're talking about The Untouchables and Carlito's Way. Say goodnight to the bad guy. How to get a rated R rating in the Reagan administration. Wow. I'm not at the opera watching Scarface. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. And Fred Rogers. Then these, I'm not going to bother to go through the chapters because I think this is already taking too long, more than it should. Yeah, that's basically it for that. Just going to go over it one last time. Oscar Wars. Citizen Cash. Led Zeppelin biography. The Good Neighbor, Fred Rogers. The World Is Yours, Scarface. Disney High. Viva Hollywood. And Hollywood High, with a weird quote for Katniss. So yeah, that's basically it for now. That truly is basically it for now at this point. And yeah, comment your thoughts down below. Let me know. Again, this is basically my goodbye, my final goodbye to my favorite Barnes & Nobles ever. Again, screw Rooms to Go for making them shut down. It's just sad. It's honestly just sad at this point. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know. And this is Daniel Mart, officially signing off for this video.